Starfield is just around the corner, and the long wait is almost at the end. These days, one of the most common arguments on the game is that Starfield is Skyrim in space. So, let's talk about Starfield and the reasons why I think this is not the case.
Hug for Bug.
Welcome to Hug for Bug, everyone. Like everybody else, I am more than ready to dive into Starfield, and like everybody else, my expectations are huge. The game is not released yet, but there are lots of content on YouTube discussing what the game actually will be like. The most common comment on the game that it is the Skyrim game that takes place in space, since the developer is same and they won't get far away from the working formula. Actually, I understand the reasons, and do not completely deny it, but I think Starfield is meant to be so much more. First, let's talk about the genre of these games so we can make a proper comparison. Skyrim is an open-world role-playing game, and for me it's the greatest game of all times. Starfield is also an open-world single-player role-playing game, but I think it will be different on these factors. 1. The size of the game. Starfield universe is so much bigger than the Skyrim. Bethesda announced there will be 1,000 planets in the game, and honestly, I think that's mind-blowing if it turns out to be true. The open-world feeling will be much stronger, and if it turns out to be as big as they announced, it will be so much bigger than the Skyrim that you can't even compare them. 2. Exploration and discovery. Surely you were able to explore and discover lots of things in Skyrim, but the findings were mostly humans, new weapons, and the elements of a story. So far, I've seen so much more exploration elements in Starfield. New biome, new planets, new species and new mining types will offer more exploration elements than the Skyrim. It seems that there will be a discovery systematics for this, and you will be able to record them to your discoveries for reward. There are lots of rumours going around, such as you cannot land on a random spot of a planet, which first of all may not be true, and second, if it is so, what's the point of landing in a place that there is nothing interesting in it? I agree that moving randomly and without limitations is fun for a while, but it gets really dull if the freedom aspect is not supported by things to do in that places. No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous Infinite Space is wonderful for a certain time period, but it is not interesting anymore when you discover the creation pattern and starting to see the same repetitive content in it. Personally, I prefer 1,000 planets with fair amount of exploring elements than billions that are hollow and with repetitive content. Creating millions of planets but putting limited amount of elements in it gets really boring after some time. 3. Base building. Base building is one of the biggest differences between these games. Base building means you can get away from the main story and spend unlimited amount of time just enjoying and progressing your home. In Skyrim, it was also possible to get away from the main story and just explore the world, but watching the sunset and mountains on a horse were a limited pleasure. I think the base building of Starfield won't be too much complicated and won't offer too much gameplay, but I think it will be fun if it offers a variety close to Subnautica or No Man's Sky. 4. Mining. From what I've seen from the gameplay, it seems that mining is a thing in Starfield, and I hope it will be well prepared. Shooting around and killing enemies is so much fun, but if the mining materials are diversified enough and have a good system, it may exceed the pleasure of the combat. There are lots of gamers that enjoy mining for long hours, and there is so much pleasure if the game has a good mining mechanics. Miner gameplay like exploration or mining is often underestimated in my opinion. For the players bored of combat, that is almost therapeutic. 5. Shipbuilding and space combat. It seems that there are great possibilities for customization options for ships and some decent space combats. Obviously, Starfield will not be simulation game like Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen, and it won't offer spaceship combat even close to these games. I think it will offer more like a No Man's Sky style of spaceship play, which is fine by me, because I don't expect it to be comparable with today's simulation games. And for the comparison with Skyrim, I remember only 3 options in Skyrim for my horse, white horse, black horse, and brown horse. So I think it's fair to say that you cannot compare these games. Just a quick reminder, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to Hug for Bug if you liked the video so far. Thanks. I think Starfield will differ itself from the Skyrim by its exploration capabilities and simulation properties. I totally agree that these two games are RPG games with a strong story and similar mission and story progression styles, but defining it as a Skyrim in space is an unfair reduction of a game. For me, Bethesda is the most capable gaming developer of today, and I think they have the best developers and financial resources. Despite the fact that Fallout 76 was a disappointment, I don't think they will make same mistakes again and present a great game. So, is Starfield Skyrim in space? I don't think this idea is completely wrong, but from my point of view, the answer is no for now. Of course, we have to wait and see for the right answer, but I saw things that supports the game will have decent exploration capabilities and gigantic open-world feeling in its own universe. Starfield will surely be the new meeting point for most of the space games lovers. I'm pretty sure that the RPG lovers will love the game. The only question for me is the reaction of the gamers came from the games like Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, No Man's Sky and so on. These gamers are mostly obsessed with the space like me and would like to see the limits of the Starfield universe, discover new places, build bases and mine like hell. Surely these people also enjoys on-foot combat and roleplay. But you have to offer more than that to keep that gamers on the game. And I really think the game's success will depend highly on that. If the game satisfies the space exploration and basic simulation needs of these gamers, I think the game will be played by a larger gamer base, and the gamers came from the other games won't go back. In my opinion, I don't think we will see an RPG game takes place in space. I think we will see a game with majorly focused on role-playing elements and on-foot combat gameplay, but I also think we will see decent space simulation and exploration elements that may surprise us. Obviously, I also have some concerns about the game after the bad taste still remaining from the Fallout 76, but I hope we won't see that kind of a launch again. So, thank you for watching. I'll be posting lots of Starfield content in the future, so please subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. See you on the 6th of September.